So anglers going into the MCZ process should be aware of some of the challenges that the projects face. This is in no way an exhaustive list, but these are the sorts of things that anglers are thinking about and the sorts of things that you should be thinking about as an angler if you do get involved in the project. Will the projects achieve their objectives? Well, we hope so. We go into this believing that they will and actively working towards that. But until they're in place and until we know how they're being operated, we can't say for sure. Do we as anglers have more to benefit or more to lose from being involved in marine conservation zones? Well, on balance, if they do work, we have far more to gain. If they don't work, or if we have restrictions on us, then obviously we have an enormous amount to lose as well. So it's just something that's worth bearing in mind. Will politics take over? Will the iterative process be followed through? Will the science and all the stakeholder groups' contributions to this process be what makes the decisions, or will politics end up being the overriding factor in where MCZs are located? Also, the use of data being supplied. If you're an angler, would you tell Finding Sanctuary what you wouldn't tell your best friend, i.e. where your best fishing spot is, where your favourite fishing mark is? It's a question that many anglers would ask themselves. How is the data on Finding Sanctuary going to be used? Enforcement of the rules as well. When MCZs are in place, we really need to make sure that any regulations that are placed on them are being enforced efficiently, effectively, and universally, so that we know the projects are working properly as they should be. Another key point for anglers is a concern over the timescales of these projects. Now, I know that Finding Sanctuary has already been going for 2.5 years and had that length of time to get to this point. But it's worth bearing in mind that the other projects, the other 3 projects around the country, have not been running for that long, but have already reached the same point in time that Finding Sanctuary has. And it's a great concern to a lot of anglers. This process has been done too quickly, without enough time for the correct decisions to be made for the right reasons. Having said all of that, the potential benefits of MCZs are enormous. Most obviously for anglers, the improvement in fish stocks from all recreational species at a local level, at a national level, and eventually at a European level. Better stock structure. This really is key for anglers. It's essential for anglers to have the opportunity to catch the big one, the specimen fish, or the fish of a lifetime. That's the reason many anglers go fishing. If they don't have the opportunity to catch that fish, many anglers might stop fishing entirely. So stock structure really is an important benefit from this. Also, a better understanding and appreciation of what marine conservation can do for us. We'll know what works, what doesn't. What does work can evolve, and we can apply it in other ways and in other places. We'll have a greater appreciation of the whole process, the science behind it, and how to engage people in moving it forward in the future. As I mentioned before, another benefit would be for anglers to secure their future as a stakeholder in environmental management. And that's extremely important to us as one of the largest marine user groups. And overall, the sustainable long-term of sea angling could be secured by successful marine conservation zones. Timescales. Well, this has been touched on before. The first iteration has been made. I believe there's 2 more to come, and the final recommendations will be made June 2011, and the MCZs in place by 2012. This gives another 12 months before the final recommendations are made. It doesn't give that long before all the data needs to be collected, but it gives enough time for any anglers that aren't already involved in Finding Sanctuary to get involved. How can you get involved? Well, first of all, you should find out who your local representatives are, local sea angling representatives on Finding Sanctuary. Talk to them, communicate them, tell them where you want to see restrictions for the benefit of everyone, and tell them where you fish and where you don't want to see restrictions. Contact the liaison officer, and he'll be able to do a mapping exercise with you. Use the interactive map Register on the website for updates and news about meetings such as this, workshops, drop-in days, and also use the website. It really is out of the 4 MCZ projects, the best website, the easiest to use, with the most information. Suggestions to the project team, tell them how this can work better, how you can engage with them better, and how they can engage with you better. And lastly, but really most importantly, engage more Sea Anglers. Go out there, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues, talk to your fishing clubs, talk to anyone you know, and tell them about finding sanctuary. Tell them how they can benefit. Tell them how they can get involved. And tell them what they need to do to provide their data, their information, and have their views heard. So finally, our message to any anglers out there is get involved in finding sanctuary and get your voice heard. If you don't get involved in the project, then you won't have a say in what happens in the future. And our message to finding sanctuary and the marine conservation zone projects in general is we believe sea angling is an inherently sustainable activity. And as such, if we don't damage the features that are being protected within marine conservation zones, then there's no need to restrict us from angling. Thanks very much.